Chapter 20, Brendan Espinoza. Leaf Man wasn't the hit I was hoping for, even though it's got a lot of YouTube views. For something to go viral, it has to reach a kind of critical mass where suddenly everybody's talking about it. Poor Leaf Man just didn't have enough legs for that. The bummer is, as great as it was, Leaf Man set me back big time with Kimberly. She's still nice to me, but it might be that she feels sorry for me because she thinks I'm crazy. I'm coming to the conclusion that our senses of humor aren't very compatible. That doesn't mean we aren't compatible, just that we probably won't like the same books, TV shows, movies, that kind of stuff. Besides, she's still totally moon-faced over Chase, so compatibility isn't really an issue right now. The fact that she barely even notices me, that's an issue. Anyway, I've got an idea for a new video, and this one's going to knock her socks off. It doesn't depend so much on humor as creativity and special effects. It's called One Man Band. Picture this: the Hiawassee Music Room. The camera films me pretending to play every instrument in the orchestra in front of a giant screen. Then I use the video editing program to superimpose those images onto the various seats on the band risers until I've got a whole orchestra, and they're all me. Presto, one man band. Joel helps me reserve the room for Thursday after school. The music department is so thrilled to have their star back that Mrs. Gilbride would have promised him her firstborn child. Besides, he's known to be a good kid. It's not like he's going to trash the risers or anything like that. Unfortunately, Chase isn't available to work the camera. He has to take a social studies test he missed due to a follow-up appointment with his falling off the roof doctor. This might be a blessing in disguise because A, Joel volunteers to fill in, and he's a pretty good cameraman, and B, Mrs. Gilbride wouldn't let Chase anywhere near her instruments, amnesia or no. She's still mourning that piano that like it was donated to the school by Beethoven himself. Also, C, Kimberly is always a little distracted when Chase is around. Maybe that's why she didn't get the humor in Leaf Man. Now, with Chase away writing that test, she'll be able to concentrate on me. I want to rent a tuxedo, since those orchestra guys really put on the ritz. My mom won't spring for it, though, so I do the best I can. I take the light gray suit I wore to this kid's bar mitzvah and paint it with shoe polish. My white shirt has a bit of a stripe in it, but I'm pretty sure it won't show up on camera. There will be a lot of me, but luckily we'll all be pretty small. I'll borrow a bow tie from my dad to make the whole ensemble more tux-like. When I come out of the bathroom, all dressed up on Thursday, Kimberly wrinkles her nose. A very cute look for her, by the way. Dude, you stink! What did you do, take a bath in magic marker? It's shoe polish, I explain. It's not me, it's my clothes. I had to improvise the formal wear. Why can't you wear normal clothes? Because an orchestra dress is fancy. But you're not in an orchestra. Well, if she doesn't pay any attention to me, it shouldn't come as a surprise that she doesn't read my text either. On the way to the music room, I get her up to speed on One Man Band. Her comment is, "You're dripping black gunk on the floor." Really? Uh-oh, there's a trail of shoe polish splatters all the way down the hallway. Too late to worry about that now. Once the video is in the can, I'll do my best to clean up after myself. I think rubbing alcohol works on that stuff, or maybe nail polish remover. Joel is waiting for us inside the music room. He's already put up the video club's green screen and set out all the instruments we're going to need. The flip cam is mounted atop a tripod. Another reason why we don't need Chase's steady hand. Joel's got some extra lights plugged in with a spaghetti of power cords. We're ready to roll. For music, I've chosen a full orchestral version of For He's a Jolly Good Fellow, performed furiously in triple time. I'll add that in during the editing stage, but I play it on my phone during filming, so I'll have the timing right when I'm done my thing with the instruments. It's not such a big deal with the small stuff, trumpet, clarinet, sax, flute, piccolo, but for violin and the string family, it's important that my bows should be moving to the right tempo. That goes double for the trombone, the kettle drums, and especially the cymbals. If I go crash, then there better be a real crash. I know this song, Kimberly comments after the music has been playing in an endless loop for at least 20 minutes of shooting. How come you picked such a lousy song? We're in the home stretch, bassoon, French horn, and tuba. The tuba's last. I stare at it. It's the marching band kind, where you climb into the middle of it and it's all around your body like a python. Wait a minute, I protest. Where's the regular one? Dented. Joel replies. Somebody dropped it down the stairs and it's out getting fixed. So it's this one or nothing. Well, you can't have an orchestra without a tuba. I squirm in and struggle to my feet. I swear the thing weighs more than I do. I'm no Hercules, but the kid who plays us in the marching band is a 4 foot 8 inch sixth grade girl. How does she lift it, much less have the breath left over to blow into it? Kimberly is regarding me a little dubiously, so I give her my most confident look and announce, "A piece of cake." It comes out like I'm straining to pass a kidney stone, not the effect I was reaching for. I put my lips to the mouthpiece and nod to Joel to start filming the final shot. The camera comes on. The double doors are kicked open, and before I can react, a tidal wave of white foam fills my field of vision. It hits me full in the face. It wouldn't normally be enough to knock me over, but with a heavy tuba bell suspended above my head, I overbalance and go down like a stone. There's a loud clang as the brass of the instrument strikes the metal edge of the riser. I hear a gasp of horror from Joel, and soon I understand why. When I roll out of the steam of foam, still wrapped in the tuba, I see Aaron Hackman and Bear Bradsky, each armed with one of the school's big silver fire extinguishers, spraying down the room and everything and everybody in it. "Go away," Joel pleads in a quavering voice. Aaron laughs a nasty laugh. "Well, if it isn't the loser, I don't think we've ever welcomed you back to school. How rude of us." "Welcome home, loser," bellows Bear, and blasts a jet of foam covering Joel from head to toe. I turn to Kimberly, who's standing there, and of all things, giggling. At long last, the girl has found something funny in one of my videos. She thinks it's part of the plan and doesn't even notice we're under attack. "Go get help," I bark at her. "Yeah, get help," snorts Bear. "Why don't you call your friend Chase?" That makes sense to me. He's the only one with half a chance of taking on these two. "Get Chase," I yell at Kimberly. Aaron laughs cruelly. "And you're supposed to be smart? Who do you figure sent us here, genius? You think Chase doesn't remember the loser who got him put on community service?" Bear adds. "Go," I shout. "He's in Mr. Solomon's room." A blast of foam silences me, and I go down again, still encircled by the tuba. Now my arms are pinned at my sides, and I can barely move. Not that I'd be much help standing up to these two Neanderthals. And if I'm upset, I can only imagine what must be going on in Joel's mind. After everything he's been through, he comes home only to find that it's starting all over again. Kimberly bolts past the two attackers and out the door. They make no move to stop her. Their focus is on me and mostly on Joel. "Hey, check out these instruments," Bear snickers, as if the band room is the last place anyone might expect to find such things. "You'd think if I practice hard, I could become a musician like the great Joel Weber." He delivers a solid boot to the French horn, which skitters across the floor, kicking up a spray from the melting foam that covers half the room. "Please don't touch the instruments," Joel whimpers. "I promised Mrs. Gilbride I'd be responsible for everything." Well, that does it. Once these two idiots see how to get a rise out of Joel, they're off to the races, throwing flutes like mini javelins and frisbeeing cymbals all around them. They roll trumpets and trombones into the slop and send violins floating on top of it. A kettle drum is upended. Music stands are hurled in all directions. Sheet music is scattered like autumn leaves. Still stuck in the tuba, I try to scramble towards Aaron and Bear. I slip on wet paper and hit the floor with another clang. Joel has Aaron by the shoulder and is trying to pull him away from the instruments, but Aaron laughs and shakes him off. Suddenly, Chase barrels into the room, Kimberly hot on his heels. "What's going on?" he bellows. "Dude, what took you so long?" Aaron crows in unholy glee. "We had to send the chick to get you." "This is your best idea yet," adds Bear. He hefts his fire extinguisher and hands it to Chase. "It's all yours, maestro." Chase looks totally blown away. I can't read his expression. Shocked? Or something else? "It's your plan," Aaron reminds him. "Bring it home." Chase is a statue, eyes wide. Bear gets impatient. "Okay, I'll do it for you." He tries to take back the extinguisher, but Chase tightens his grip and holds on. There's a vicious tug of war from the extinguisher. With a mighty yank, Chase wrenches it out of Bear's grasp. It swings free, just as Joel rises from the floor where Aaron tossed him. With a thud, the heavy metal strikes Joel in the side of the face, and he drops back down into the foam. Agitated voices sound in the hallway. 6 teachers burst into the music room, Mrs. Gilbride in the lead. "What's going on here?" she yells, taking in the wreckage all around her. Where's Joel Weber? With a groan, Joel sits up. The fall on his face can't disguise the fact that his left eye is already turning black and blue. That's when it hits me how this must seem to the teachers. The music room is a disaster area. Instruments, music stands, books, and papers are strewn everywhere, the whole place buried in foam. The school's three most notorious bullies are right there. One of them, Chase, still wields a fire extinguisher, and their number one target, Joel, is down on the floor with a rapidly swelling face, obviously the victim of an assault. It isn't what it looks like, I gasp, and then bite my tongue. What if it's exactly what it looks like? The idea to send for Chase came from Aaron and Bear. Was this the plan all along? And was Chase the ringleader, just like the guy said? The teachers don't pay any attention to me. Their job is diffusing the crisis. Mrs. Gilbride rushes Joel to see the nurse, and the other staff members march Aaron, Bear, and Chase off to the principal's office. Kimberly follows. Even now, her only concern is Chase. As quickly as that, I'm all alone, still trapped in the marching band's tuba. With a heavy sigh, I struggle up and try to shake myself out of the brass tentacles of this thing. It moves maybe an inch. I'm going to be here all night. As I continue to wiggle and worm, dripping gray, frothy shoe polish into the foam, I reflect that the worst part of this isn't being stuck in a tuba. It isn't that one-man band is never going to happen. It's the sad fact that Kimberly could leave me in such a terrible state just because Chase is in trouble. And as soon as I think that, I realize that the real worm around here has to be me. Wormier even than Aaron and Bear. I care more about my love life than the fact that my friend Chase might not be my friend after all. It isn't true, I scold myself. Chase used to be like that, but not anymore. Then there's the evidence of my own eyes and ears. The trash band room. Another attack on poor Joel. Chase, right alongside his old wrecking crew, delivered the final blow. I sit down on the edge of the riser and hang my head, too depressed to wriggle anymore. The sound of wet sneakers squishing in the slop jolts me out of my melancholy. I look up to see Kimberly standing over me. She says, I thought you might need some help getting out of that thing. My heart soars. Hope. Chapter 21. Chase Ambrose. It should be familiar to me, sitting on the chairs outside Dr. Fitzwallace's office with Aaron and Bear, waiting for the axe to fall. Aaron assures me that our butt prints are permanently etched into the seats. I don't remember any of that, but it's accepted fact that the three of us have spent a lot of time here. Aaron settles himself comfortably and grins at me. There's no place like home. I'm not in the mood to grin back. Are you both crazy? What was that all supposed to be about? Bear rolls his eyes. Oh, boo-hoo, the poor geek squad. I'm furious. Forget them. What about me? You've just gotten me into a ton of trouble. What about yourselves? You're both going to get kicked off the football team for this. And for what? So you could spray fire extinguisher foam on a bunch of band instruments? Bear keeps on smiling. At least we weren't the ones who caught Joel Weber. That was an accident. You think Fitzwallace is going to believe that? Bear retorts. Who's going to back you up? Your video dweebs? I kind of doubt you're their favorite person right now. I'm so upset I can barely come up with the right words. You did this on purpose to frame me. We're supposed to be friends, and you were so dead set on wrecking my life that you didn't even care if you went down the drain with me. Aaron's calm. No one's going down the drain. Are you delusional or just stupid? With our reputation, they're going to throw the kitchen sink at us. Community service is something we can only dream about now. We're going to get expelled, and we better pray Fitzwallace isn't on the phone with the cops right now. Relax, says Aaron in the undertone. First of all, we are friends, and we're not going to let anything bad happen to you. Just stick with us, agree with everything I say, and we've got this. You are delusional, I hiss. How could there be any way to explain that train wreck in the music room? When the door to the inner office opens, the knob makes a snap like a gunshot. Then Dr. Fitzwallace is upon us, his rage all the more terrible because it's ice cold. Honestly, I can't say I blame him. I'm not thrilled about being in trouble, but if any situation ever justified a principal losing it on 3 students, it's this one. He ushers us inside and seats himself while we stand in front of his old desk. Well, it's the 3 of you again. I was hoping. He looks at me and shakes his head sadly. All right, let's hear it. Knowing full well it's not going to get me anywhere, I'm about to protest my innocence when Aaron speaks up. I know it looks bad, but we didn't do anything wrong. Bear and I were walking past the man room, and we saw smoke coming out from under the door. So we grabbed fire extinguishers and ran inside spraying. They were shooting some kind of video and had a million lights plugged in. Something must have shorted out and caused a fire. Chase heard the yelling and came in to help us. But the video kids attacked us because their project was getting ruined. And somehow Joel Weber hit his head on one of the extinguishers. The principal frowns. That's not how the students on the scene described it. Bear shook his head understandingly. Don't be too hard on them, Dr. Fitzwallace. They were probably just scared of getting in trouble for starting the fire. The frowns deepens. None of my teachers smelled smoke. Aaron sighs with relief. Good, we got it in time. Dr. Fitzwallace shifts his gaze from the two of them to me. And that's what happens? This is it. Time for me to shoot down Aaron's ridiculous lie and speak up for my own innocence. Sure, Dr. Fitzwallace will never believe I was framed, but at least I'll have the satisfaction of throwing these two guys under the bus, even if I have to go with them. Well, the principal prompts. To my astonishment, the anger is completely gone from his expression. He's waiting for my answer, and I think I know what he's hoping to hear. He's rooting for me to go along with Aaron and Bear. Why would a principal want to let 3 delinquents like us off the hook after such a huge incident? I take an educated guess. It's probably a major hassle to come down hard on students the way he'd have to throw the book at Aaron, Bear, and me. 3 sets of unhappy parents. Triple the paperwork. School board meetings, maybe court cases, everything in triplicate. And my eyes find the photographs on the wall. The 2 state championship pictures. My dad and me. Losing Aaron and Bear would be a blow to the Hurricanes, and it would definitely shut down any possibility of me coming back. So I mumble, yeah. Excuse me? It should be an easy thing to say, but each word sits on my tongue like poison. Yeah, what Aaron said is the way it happened. Fitzwallace looks almost relieved, and I know I've picked the right answer. Aaron and Bear are both smiling, although they're working hard to keep their celebration inside. They've gotten away with it, and so have I. We're not totally off the hook. We get a bit of a lecture on how we should have called for help or pulled the fire alarm before taking matters into our own hands. He tells us we need to be less impulsive and not so rough with our fellow students. Also, we're not allowed to leave on our own. He calls our parents and they have to pick us up. As we stand in the foyer waiting for our rides, Aaron and Bear are raving about our amazing escape. Seriously, man, Bear tells Aaron, I've seen tap dancing before that was filth, like art. Aaron nods. I was afraid Chase was going to mess it up at the end, but our boy came through. Didn't I tell you he'd have our back? I don't say anything, but inside I'm thinking, it's true. I covered for them. I saw a way to save my own butt, and I took it. And in the process, I wrapped myself in their phony story and got drawn back into the old life. So this is what it was like. Make trouble, lie, repeat. Luckily, those guys are so busy congratulating themselves they didn't notice I'm not adding much to the conversation. Bear gets picked up first, then Aaron. I'm just reflecting that Mom's not going to be thrilled about having to leave work early and come get me over this when the Ambrose electric truck rattles along the drive. Not Mom. Dad. He's beaming at me like I'm here to present him with a big check from the state lottery. I climb into the passenger seat. What? He reaches over and playfully punches my shoulder. Fitzwallace told me everything, and I read between the lines. Way to go, champ. It wasn't great, Dad. He laughs. You think that's the first time I've ever gotten a call like that about you, Aaron and Bear? It's never great, but you got away with it. That's pretty great. I almost say, not really, but that wouldn't be true. I could easily be buried under a mudslide of pain right now, and I'm not. I can't regret that. What I regret is the way I got so free and clear. When I arrive at school the next morning, Miss DeLeo is waiting for me at my locker. You found out what happened, I conclude. I'll apologize to Brendan, Joey, and Kimmy when I see them in video club. She shakes her head sadly. I'm sorry, Chase. You're not part of the club anymore. Maybe I'm stupid, but that really catches me by surprise. Nobody told me I didn't do anything wrong. Suddenly, there's a bowling ball in my throat, and I can't seem to clear it away. I spoke to the Webbers on the phone last night, she tells me. Joel's okay, but the family's Pretty rattled, considering that the injury came from you. What about Brendan? I press. He knows I'm innocent. I had a talk with him too. He's not sure about your role, but the word innocent never came up. She shoots me a penetrating gaze. And it doesn't help that you backed up a story that your two friends spun about an electrical fire. My heart sinks. She's right about that. I signed on to the lie to save my own skin, but I never thought about how that would look to the video club kids. They knew there was no fire. They're all been waiting for for the old me to show up, and I deliver. So they kick me out, I say? She shakes her head. That decision was mine. I'm really sorry, Chase. You were doing so well. Warrior is the best middle school project I've ever seen. I think of Shoshana. I can only imagine how mad she must be. Don't worry, Miss Delia, I said, surprised at how hard it is to keep my voice steady. I'll stay away. It bugs me, but what really bugs me is how much it bugs me. What do I care that a bunch of video dweebs don't want me in their club? I bring myself up short. Video dweebs? That's what Aaron and Bear call them. As upset as I am, I'm not going to stoop low enough to use their words. I blame myself for the mess I'm in, but mostly I blame those two. Speaking of Aaron and Bear, they're acting like everything is beyond awesome between us. Funny, I found a way to give them a pass for a lot of rotten stuff, including maybe even stealing a War Heroes medals. But what I can't forgive them for turns out to be something I did all by myself. I protected them because it was the way to protect myself. The cost turned out to be one video club, plus the way I feel every time Aaron or Bear refers to me as our boy. I start taking weird detours through the halls just to avoid running into them. My one consolation is that this is a short day for me. Dad's picking me up at 11 and taking me to my appointment with Dr. Nguyen, the sports medicine specialist. At least that spares me lunch at the football table. I won't be eating with the video crowd anytime soon. Is it possible to lose your appetite for an entire school year? I spot Brandon a couple of times, but when he sees me, he quickly turns away. I catch a glimpse of Shoshana scorching me with a look that would melt titanium.
I don't think Joel's even at school.
Dr. Nguyen re-enters the exam room and beams at me. Well, young man, I've got some good news and better news. The good news is you exhibit no lingering concussion symptoms and you're fit as a fiddle in every way. The better news is I'm signing the medical form authorizing you to return to the football team with no restrictions. Congratulations. Gee, what a surprise. Dad searched and searched and found a doctor who would clear a dead man to go out there and get tackled, and only 60 miles away. As we drive home in the staying, Dad rails against brain-dead Cooperman, who kept me off the gridiron for no real reason. Dr. Cooperman has a diploma from Harvard Medical School in his office, I tell him. I don't see a diploma on Dr. Nguyen's wall. Dad snorts into the wheel. Just because he isn't one of those Ivy League snobs doesn't mean he isn't as legit as they come. This is great news, champ. You're back on the team. His brow darkens, and maybe those stumble bums will start winning again once you're out there. In 3 weeks, I remind him, school rules. 1 week of non-contact practice, then 2 weeks in full pads before I can play in a real game. Just in time for a late season playoff run, Dad chortles. I'm not that happy about my triumphant return to football, and it isn't only because of Dr. Nguyen, who would have signed a paper certifying I was pregnant with triplets if my father had paid him enough. It's not the medical part that bothers me. I know I'm fine. Dr. Cooperman pretty much said so himself. I'm even interested in the game and excited to see if I can be as good as everybody says I used to be. The part I don't like is that football me is the old me, and I don't want to be that guy anymore. Look how fast my pre-amnesia instincts kicked in the minute Aaron and Bear jammed me up yesterday. But really, what choice do I have except the Hurricanes? I'm kicked out of video club, and I lost every one of the friends I made there. Things are really turning around for you, champ, my father goes on. But maybe not the way I want them to, I complain. Why? Because a bunch of sissies are ticked off at you? He doesn't understand why the video club thing hurts so much. I'm not sure I understand it myself. It isn't just the kids. Mr. Leo was the one who kicked me out. Teachers, Dad snorts. They have to slap you on the wrist to make it look like they're in charge. You'll notice you're not banned from the football team, and neither are your buddies, Aaron and Bear. When I played, I had the whole faculty wrapped around my little finger. Sure, They threw me a detention every now and then to make it look good. But after the state championships, I called the shots in that school. For the first time, I say it out loud. Aaron and Bear might not be my buddies anymore. Oh, come on, champ, don't be that way. He beams at me. First that mess with the Weber kid, then the accident. It feels like it took forever to get the old Chase back. Don't tell your mother, but I'm proud of the way you handled Joel. You made your statement, that's for sure. I don't bother to point out that I wasn't making a statement with Joel. It looks more like my buddies Aaron and Bear were making a statement with me. And all it took was a sick imagination and a lot of fire extinguisher foam. By the time we get back to Hiawassee, it's 2:30. No sense bothering to go to school. Dad drops me off at home, making me promise to report to football practice with my newly signed medical form promptly at 4. And I will, not because I want to, but because I'm too depressed to resist. Unhappiness sucks all the energy out of a guy. Upstairs in my room, I gaze out the window at the shingles of the sloping roof. For a weird instant, I actually remember sitting out there when I wanted to be alone with my thoughts. Or maybe it's not a memory at all, but something I'm imagining because I've been told so many times that's what I used to do. On a wild impulse, I raise the window and swing a leg over the sash. Carefully, really carefully, I crawl out there. I'm expected to be terrified after what happened. Actually, though, I'm pretty comfortable on the gentle sloping shingles. It even feels familiar. It's not a flashback exactly, still, it has to come from my lost past. I definitely haven't been here lately. I swore to Mom that I'd never go out on the roof again. But she's at work now and never is a long time. To my amazement, my body arranges itself into the position I'm told I used to prefer. Butt planted, knees bent, feet flat on the shingles. It's a different kind of memory. Muscle memory. Amnesia can't touch it. I understand why I liked it up here. It's peaceful and private. The town is all around, but I'm above it, so nothing can reach me. I see the school and the football field I'll be on in a couple of hours. Not far away, towards downtown, is the Portland Street residence, where Mr. Solway lives. And there's the park where we filmed Leaf Man. Just the thought of it brings the bowling ball back to my throat. That's the last time I'm ever going to get to work on one of Brendan's crazy videos. Dad says the old Chase is back. I wanted that once. But right now, the new Chase is a life I'd rather have. And I've lost that too.